So you're not going to try to have the case dismissed?
I certainly do not want to have the case dismissed.
Amazing.
Yeah.
A few moments later.
On top of that, talk about a federal operation. Out of nowhere, Brigitte Macron just lies. I don't even know how they got this in the press. This is so dumb. Brigitte Macron comes out and says they have offered scientific evidence to the U.S. court to prove that Brigitte is a woman. That's what her lawyer says. Well, the lawyer's a liar because we haven't even started this case yet. So how could you have offered scientific proof to a court to prove you're a woman?
Before we start today's video, I want us to establish a certain ground rule, which I always say in most of my videos. 2 or more things can be right at the same time. Just because you don't like someone, a public figure, does not mean that nothing about them is good. They could be right on certain aspects and some things. Or just because you love someone does not mean that they are above criticism. They could have some things that you could look at and say, that I don't agree with. It does not mean that because you love someone, no matter what they do, it is perfectly fine. Candace Owens lied to you again. Now, Candace fans, I want us to do a small exercise. Pause. I know you're about to go in the comment section, insult me, everything about my life, my ugly voice and everything. But I want you to just pause for a second. Please. Now, do this exercise for 1 minute only. Pretend that you don't know Candace Owens. Listen to everything objectively. And we are going to use only her standard in this video. I am not using my standard. I'm using only Candace's standard. Is that okay? Thank you. Now, when I've presented my facts, you can look at them. You can agree with me, you can disagree with me, but please make sure you're agreeing or disagreeing from a point of understanding, not just because you love the person so much that you can't stand anything against them. And also, even if you don't like her, if you feel that what I've said is right or wrong, it is okay to still say, I don't like the lady, but I think here you are making a mistake. It is fine. I just want us to disagree or agree from a point of understanding, not from a point of emotions. Now, this is why I said Candace lied to you. In the previous video, when I talked about Candace not standing on business, a lot of you had a lot to say. And one of the things I said is that she said she will not file a motion to dismiss this case. She does not want to dismiss it. Maybe the Macrons will pretend that Brigitte died of stress or heart attack and all of that.
Us to dismiss it. They are going to pretend that Brigitte died from grief. I don't know. Because clearly they're not going to go through discovery, right?
But she will not dismiss this case. And I had in a docket where she was already asking for more words, more pages, and more time to file a motion to dismiss. And some of you said, oh no, it doesn't mean anything. It does not mean that she has filed for dismissal. But she did file for dismissal on the 14th of September 2025. Today is actually the 19th. Now, the reason I did not make a video when I saw this on the 14th of September, I just said to myself, the girl is grieving. She just lost her best friend and she has not mentioned it. I'm sure the next time she mentions the case, she will probably tell her fans, okay, I had thought I will not dismiss the case, but after reflection and discussion with my attorney, I think that some motions need to be dismissed or the entire case needs to be thrown out, because I have seen that me insisting for it not to be dismissed doesn't make sense. But she vividly, while talking about Brigitte Macron's submission of scientific evidence allegedly to the BBC yesterday on her show, ignored to mention that she has filed for a dismissal. And she herself, by her standard, says that.
And lies by severe omission, I'd like to be very clear, are lies. Lies by severe omission are lies. But I don't like little lies. That's what I will say. Something that I always say in my household is, when there is one lie, there's 20. There's no reason to lie.
Lies by omissions are lies. she could have also said, I have filed for dismissal, this. Why she was talking about Brigitte Macron doing this. Yes, it's possible that Brigitte Macron has lied that she is sending in scientific evidence, or it's possible that Brigitte Macron actually has scientific evidence. We don't know until we see it. All of them are still talking in the sky. From the last time she did this, when she started Brigitte Macron season 2, I did a first video on it. By the second video, everything was everywhere. I don't know where she was going to. She started looking at gods from Greeks, France, and all of that. And I was asking myself, where is this leading us? I feel like you're taking us on a run. We're going in circles. I'm not seeing where we're headed. But something happened, unfortunately, and then it stopped the series. I don't know if she's going to continue it, but let's see when she comes back what more evidence she has, because so far, it seems it's possible that Brigitte Macron might be who Candace says she is. But if she doesn't have concrete evidence, she doesn't have evidence to prove it in court, there is nothing she can say or do otherwise. The court works on evidence. Now, look at this document. On the 12th, I was even saying 14, it was right on the 12th. On the 12th of September, an affidavit filed date docket September 14, 2025. Remember the last time we were talking, she had to reply by September 11th. But apparently, probably they filed late September 12th, at 9:11 a.m. 2025 transmittal affidavit of Catherine L. Morley, Esquire, in support of defendant's opening brief in support of its motion to dismiss with a certificate of service exhibit 1 to the transmittal affidavit of Catherine L. Morley, Esquire, in support of defendant's opening brief in support of its motion to dismiss exhibit 2 to the transmittal affidavit of Catherine L. Morley, Esquire, in support of defendant's opening brief in support of its motion to dismiss accepted by ERM transmitted ID September 12 still. Motion to dismiss date docket September 14, 2025. Defendant's motion to dismiss with a certificate of service. Notice of motion to the defendant's motion to dismiss to be heard at the convenience of the court. Proposed order to the defendant's motion to dismiss accepted by ERM. Okay? Candace fans, I hope we're still on pause. Don't type yet. I know you're eager. I know your fingers can't wait to say something. But give me a minute, okay? I went to look at the document, and I will link all of this, the docket site as well as the motion. This is the motion filed September 12, 2025 at 9:11 a.m. ETD. Case number N25C/07/194 SKR. Same thing. In the Superior Court of the State of Delaware, Emmanuel Macron and Brigitte Macron, who are the plaintiffs, versus Candace Owens LLC, and Joshton Inc., who are defendants. You can go through this and go through everything, and you see there that I am not making this thing from the sky, because in the last time when I talked about Candace doesn't stand on business, so many of you were in the comment section saying that, oh, this. And I said in the video, even when I said this, I presented it, I said, well, this is something she's still inquiring, still asking for. If the court has granted it. So let's see if by the 11th of September, she will file in the motion. Then we will be sure that, okay, fine, she has filed a motion, which is contrary to what she said, but she has not. And in the same bulk of transparency, where she wants everybody to be transparent, she said people should tell the truth. The truth and nothing but the truth will set you free, okay? There is no better disinfectant than sunlight. She talked about Brigitte Macron on her show yesterday. I have been letting it go because, well, the girl is grieving and probably she has not had time to get to the case because she has other priorities investigating the death of her friend. But she mentioned it. She had time.
On top of that, talk about a federal operation out of nowhere. Brigitte Macron just lies. I don't even know how they got this in the press. This is so dumb. Brigitte Macron comes out and says they have offered scientific evidence to the U.S. court to prove that Brigitte is a woman. That's what her lawyer says. Well, the lawyer's a liar because We haven't even started this case yet. So how could you have offered scientific proof to a court to prove you're a woman, especially because you're not suing me over the claim that I said you were born a man? You were born a man. Oh, I guess you're born a boy, a male is what I should say. You're born a male, and you've never sued anybody for making that statement. You sue for things around it. You're suing me because you're saying, well, you said I stole the identity from my sister. I'm not a thief. You've never sued anybody for the claim that you were born male. So I don't know what this is. Just like we're just going to all hound Candace to try to distract her from looking into Charlie Kirk's murder and assassination.
To look through and talk about the BBC article that Brigitte Macron and her husband are insinuating they will prove scientific evidence that Brigitte Macron is a woman. And now, Candace made a point, which is also good. One, the Macrons don't seem to be suing her on the merits of whether she is a woman or not. They were suing her on other aspects. I have not gone through the case completely, but when I do, I'll be sure to see if this is what they're saying. But I decided to open the BBC article to read also to see what it says. Emmanuel Macron and his wife Brigitte are planning to present photographic and scientific evidence in their lawsuit to prove Mrs. Macron is a woman. The French president and Mrs. Macron will present the documentation in a defamation suit they have taken against the right-wing influencer Candace Owens after she promoted a theory that Macron was born male. Mrs. Owens' lawyers have responded with a motion to dismiss. In this same article, they are talking about that same motion to dismiss. So please, Candace fans, I hope you're still on pause. Please, on pause for now. Please. This is a BBC article. It is not me. So before you insult my voice, before you insult everything about me, this is a BBC article. You can go, I will link it below. You can go and look through it still. She did not mention why she was mentioning this article. She never mentioned the fact that she has filed a motion to dismiss after preaching that on Tucker Carlson show that she will not dismiss. Look, I am not saying that she cannot look at evidence and change her mind. She can. Definitely she can. But when she does, like she says, sunlight is the best disinfectant. Let her come back to her fans so that they can also learn to think that, okay, people can change their mind, because there is something about some of her fans that is like, if you say something, they don't even let you finish your sentence. They just go attack. They look for something to attack you on. She could have still said she doesn't want to dismiss this case without consulting her lawyers, because Candace is good at saying things that she has not reflected on sometimes. She does that. Even though her fans will never agree, she does sometimes say things she has not reflected on probably. Because in the last video, I was still talking about Bibi Netanyahu. He shouldn't be claiming their friends so much because Erica did not mention him in her speech. She called it a speech. And I said, by that same standard you are waging, baby girl, you're not mentioned there. So we don't know if that is the standard we're using. I think you also have a K-leg. This is the BBC article also proving that, yes, Mrs. Owens' lawyers have already responded with a motion to dismiss the claim. But on her show last night, she said nada about it. Speaking to the BBC Fame Under the Fire podcast, the Macron's lawyers in the case, Tom Clare and Mrs. Macron, had found the claims incredibly upsetting, and they were a distraction to the French president. I don't think this case can be a huge distraction to the French president. It is a distraction to them because they have things they are hiding. That's just the only reason. Because if I am sitting here and someone comes and says I'm a man, I don't think that would distract me. It will never distract me. I'm not hiding evidence of being a man or something. It will not distract me. I think the riots in France, I made a video a couple of days back about how bad it is in France. I think that is way more distracting than whatever Candace is saying to Macron. If Macron was serious and the husband, Macron and the wife, sorry. Please, Macron, don't sue me allegedly. If they were serious about this thing distracting them, I think they have better fish to fry in France right now than what Candace is saying on a podcast in the USA. I think that is a bigger thing. But if this still bothers them, of course, they have the right to sue if they want to. Candace begged for the lawsuit. She begged for it. She urged, please. And when he showed up, she started calling Trump. Trump and J.D. Vance have said nothing. Ma'am, it's hard to defend you sometimes. Candace also said the case has not started. Of course, this article doesn't say it has started. So I don't know why she was insinuating on her show that the case has not started yet. Of course, it has not started yet. The article makes it clear that they are going to, they did not say they have presented. They said they plan to present it.
They have offered scientific evidence to the U.S. court to prove that Brigitte is a woman. That's what her lawyer says.
I think that's what it says here. If my English is good, I understand English perfectly. This is it. I've looked through the article. They say they are planning, not like Candace was presenting in the show, like they said they have already done so. No, they said they are planning to present it. But on her show, she made it sound like they said they have done so. Those little things too. Candace, I know that you are a person for details. Me too, I'm a person for details. And I don't like those little things you're omitting or playing around with. Candace is good at putting things in a way that will rile up your emotions if you don't sit down to think for a while. Owens' lawyers have responded with a motion to dismiss, arguing that the case was filed in Delaware, where her businesses are incorporated, rather than in Tennessee, where she lives. Yes, I remember that Candace was really not happy with the idea that they filed in Delaware, because even before the lawsuit ever came, she always said, come to Tennessee. I want you to walk to Tennessee, where the good old boy still exists, and come and tell us that you were in love with a little boy. Yes. Every time I think about Brigitte Macron and Emmanuel Macron's relationship, it traumatizes me, like personally. It gives me mental drainage. I don't know how France sat by and watched this go down. I don't know how they did it. That is absurd. Whew. They claim forcing her to defend the case in Delaware would cause substantial financial and operational hardship. Oh, so which means that what they are trying to do is financially bankrupt her, which is really shady of the Macrons, to be honest. But, well, when you look for something, people can fight you in any way they feel like it, because Candace has dug into their background in such a way that anybody will feel, they will feel open, wide open, honestly. But that is a shady way to fight someone, trying to cripple them financially, knowing that the French government or the French couple, Emmanuel Macron and Brigitte Macron, they have unlimited budget to begin with. They are the president and first lady of France. So the BBC has approached Candace Owens' legal team for a comment. She had previously said she believes what she's saying is true, and there is nothing more American than free speech, the ability to criticize. So guys, I want you to go look at these articles, read everything Candace fans. Now that I've presented this, okay? Now you can drop your comments, okay? If you still feel that what I've said is all bullshit, of course, it's fine. It's your feelings. You can now tell me, yeah, you said bullshit. But I just did not want you to say your comment without me laying down my point. But now that I've said it, you can go ahead. Thank you very much. And please, if there is something I'm missing, if you're a lawyer and there is something here about this case that you think I should pay attention to, please let me know. I am not a lawyer. I'm not trained to be a lawyer. My education is not there. But I am sure that there are many people who are lawyers who will find some things here that are very interesting. Please. All right. Until next time. Bye.